Thank you for tuning in to SimPilot 2450. It would be greatly appreciated if you guys could show your support for this video and the channel by liking and subscribing so others like you can find the channel. Let's go have some fun. Thanks. Hi folks, welcome back to the channel and another flight with SimPilot 2450. Today we are in North Carolina. We will be departing Fayetteville Regional Airport, also known as Greenis Field, and flying south to Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. Today we will be conducting the flight under IFR conditions. We are in the Carenado PA 44 Seminole, and I thought it might be fun just to do an IFR flight to kind of showcase the PA 44's stability. We will fly the departure and the climb out all by hand, and we'll fly up to our cruising altitude. We anticipate 6,000 feet, and then maybe we'll turn on the autopilot. All right, so let's get started. Well, welcome to the Fayetteville Regional Airport. We are sitting inside of the signature flight operations. This airport is located near the city of Fayetteville in North Carolina. It has 2 runways and it's served by 2 concourse terminal for commercial aviation and 1 separate terminal for general aviation traffic. And that's where we're at right now at the signature FBO. American Eagle offers direct flights here to and from Charlotte International Airport. Delta and Delta Connection also offers direct service from Atlanta. The airport features the 3D interior that you see here at the signature FBO. It's got autogen vegetation that's been hand placed, high resolution PBR ground and building textures, custom jetways, animated ground traffic vehicles. It's been highly optimized. It uses the 2021 airport layout. It has ground clutter, custom HDR lighting. It's a nice little airport. It is a payware airport and it's by Verticalsim. So let's go outside and we'll walk around the airport a little bit and check it out, and then we'll jump in the plane and get going. Not the greatest, as you know, operating the joysticks here. Step outside. So you see we've got a pretty good low cloud deck today, so we are IFR. Here's our PA 44. We'll get to showcase that today a little bit and show you how stable it is. We'll hand fly the departure and the climb out all the way to cruise. Let's step back here and I'll show you the signature building. And we'll head down to the commercial side of things, go down here to the terminal. Tower and fire station. Not seeing any aircraft at the terminal. Textures look nice. This is by Verticalsim. I don't know if you've used any of their sceneries. I found some of their older sceneries, or their first sceneries to come out. They didn't have a ton of detail, but as they progressed, their sceneries have just gotten much, much better. If you were to look at Tampa today, that's just an outstanding scenery. So they've really picked up their quality and attention to detail. But this is a nice little regional airport. Again, as you know, I like these type of airports where you've got a commercial side and a general aviation side. So that way you can get a real good bang for your buck. And you can fly just about whatever you want. You notice there's plenty of parking area here for the general aviation. The one thing I've noticed, though, there are no hangars with open doors, so you can't park your airplane inside a hangar. But all in all, I think it's a nice little airport. So let's head down to the Seminole and we'll get ready to go. This is the Carenado PA 44. Most of you are familiar with Carenado, so you know what to expect for the quality and flight dynamics. But I think it's a fun airplane, and especially if you want to progress up into a twin, this is certainly a nice candidate. The Seminole is known as a light twin trainer. It's got twin 185s. The propellers spin counter to each other. They're opposed. So let's climb in and get ready to go. Well, welcome to the cockpit of the PA 44. Let's get started. So let's turn our fuel on. Let's get the door closed, get our seat belts on, latch up. That looks good. Alright, let's get the cowl flaps open. That one's tricky sometimes. Alright, let's crack our throttle. Props are coming full, mixture's coming full. Let's get our mags on. Battery switch coming on. Fuel quantity looks good. 3 green on the gear switch. Let's come on with our nav light. Alright, we'll prepare to start the left engine. Let's come on with our boost pump. We'll prime it. Let's clear the prop area. Clear prop. Come on. Come on with the alternator. Off with the fuel pump. Engine gauges are active. Looking good. Alright, let's start the right engine. Put the fuel pump on. Prime it. Clear the prop area. Clear prop. Alternator's coming on. Fuel pump's coming on. Engine gauges look good. Alright, let's come on with our avionics.
TOS system test OK.
So I programmed the flight plan. Let me show you the flight plan. We will be departing Fayetteville Regional Airport, and basically we will be flying Victor 136. Now, a Victor airway is a low altitude IFR airway, and the purpose basically is they connect one VOR to another VOR. So in this case it's the Fayetteville VOR and the Myrtle Beach VOR. We will be leaving or departing the airway at intersection Hickey. We'll be flying the RNAV 18 approach into Myrtle Beach. So I'll bring that up. So you see here we're going to be leaving Vicky and coming to our initial approach fix, ZVIM, and then we'll fly the approach. Alright, so let's get that programmed in. So let me program that in. I'll get right back to you. Alright, I've got the flight plan all programmed in. You see we'll be leaving Fayetteville Regional Airport, flying to Nerdy, the first intersection, flying then Victor 136, all the way down to Hickey. We'll leave the airway at Hickey, begin our RNAV 18 approach into Myrtle Beach. Should be all set. I have programmed in the Myrtle Beach VOR here, and I also have programmed in the ATIS for Myrtle Beach. I can show you where we get the ATIS. If we actually look at our approach plate up here at the top, we can get our ATIS frequency, and of course you can get all of your other frequencies as well. So we should be all set to go. Let's go ahead and let's get our ATIS here at Fayetteville.
Fayetteville Airport information, Echo 1500 Zulu. Wind 184 at 12. Visibility half a mile. Sky condition, ceiling 1,600 feet overcast. Temperature 15. Dew point 1 tree. Altimeter 29.902. RNAV runway 22 in use. Landing and departing runway 22. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact. You have echo.
Alright, let's get our clearance.
Fayetteville ground November 2450 Victor ready to copy IFR clearance to Myrtle Beach.
November 2450 Victor is cleared to Myrtle Beach Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 22 climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Departure frequency is 127.8 squawk 5322.
November 2450 Victor cleared to Myrtle Beach Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 22 climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Departure on 127.8 squawk 5322.
50 Victor, read back correct. Contact ground on 121.7. Good day.
Fayetteville ground November 2450 Victor with Echo ready to taxi IFR.
November 2450 Victor, taxi to and hold short of runway 22 via taxiway Delta Alpha. Contact tower on 118.3 when ready.
Taxi to and hold short runway 22 via taxiway Delta Alpha 50 Victor.
Alright, so we have our clearance and we're ready to taxi. I have put in the altimeter setting, DG is all set, and we've got our squawk in. So we should be ready to go. Come off of the parking brake here. Get our taxi lights on. Temperature is pretty good, but we are going to be going up through some visible precipitation here, so we'll go ahead and put on the pitot heat. Alright, well, let's come in with the throttles real smoothly. As everything we do in aviation, we want to be very smooth. It's clear right. So we'll be in the soup real quick today, so we'll be on the instruments. One of the things we want to showcase with the Carenado PA-44 is it's very stable in flight. So we will hand fly the departure and the climb all the way to our cruise to just show you that it's very stable. And I would recommend anyone to hand fly as much as you can. A lot of people will have a tendency to lift off and go right onto autopilot, but in doing that, you're never going to improve your flying skills, and it's a nice challenge to hand fly the aircraft, especially once you start to learn some of the tricks of hand flying. And as you know, the biggest trick that I'm always focusing on is trim. Trim is your buddy, and as long as you trim up your airplane in each phase of your flight, your workload is decreased immensely. And as you will see here, we'll trim up during the climb, and basically I'll be able to fly the climb hands off. So challenge yourself and do a little hands-off flying. So we are taxiing down to runway 22. We won't be using any flaps for the takeoff. That's standard procedure. We will rotate right around 70-75. What I'll do is just as we pass through 70 knots, I'll just bring a little bit of back pressure on the yoke, and then I'll let the aircraft fly itself off the runway. Sometimes people might have a tendency to jerk it off on your takeoff. You don't want to do that. Just a nice gentle back pressure and let the aircraft fly itself right off. So we'll get down here to the end of runway 22. We'll do our run-ups, and then we'll be airborne. As I mentioned, this is a payware scenery. It's by Verticalsim. It's a nice little scenery. It doesn't compare to Verticalsim's newest work, like Tampa Bay International. they've really stepped their game up. But this is a nice little scenery. All right, let's set our parking brake. So we'll bring the RPMs up to about 1500. And let's check our mags. Very slight drop. That's good. We're within our range. Same there. Left mag. Looking good. Looking good. Close these up. Alright, let's cycle our prop. Left prop. See, we had a slight drop in oil pressure. Cycle it again. Right prop. One more time. Looks good. Let's taxi up to our hold short. And we'll contact the tower.
Fayetteville Tower, November 2450 Victor, ready for IFR departure, runway 22.
November 2450 Victor, altimeter 29er.9er, tailwind 184 at 12. Cleared for takeoff, runway 22.
As you can see, I had issues again with the mouse.
Runway 22 November 2450 Victor.
I should just keep it over here. But if I move that off to my other screen, then I have no control over the simulator or the aircraft. You notice when I brought the mouse back over, then I finally had control. So that's why things were a little jerky. And I hate to be jerky. You need to be nice and smooth. Alright, so let's prepare for takeoff here. Our fuel quantity is good. Let's check our trim. Gonna come back a little bit with our trim. Our flaps are up. Cowl flaps are open. Props are full. Mixture's full. Let's come on with our boost pumps. And let's come on with our landing light. And let's turn on our transponder. Hand flying this departure and climb out, and it will be IFR. Alright, things look good. Let's come in with the power, nice and smooth. Thing looks good. Airspeed is alive. Maintain directional control. There's 70, coming back with a little bit of back pressure, and there we fly it right off. Gears coming up. Pressure is good. I'm going to come back just a little bit on the props here. No sense working these engines real hard. And we're going to look for about 110.
50 Victor, contact Fayetteville departure on 127.8. Good day.
holding a little down pressure right now. So to relieve that down pressure, I'm bringing in down trim.
2450 Victor is passing 1,100 feet, climbing 6,000 feet.
November 2450 Victor, Fayetteville departure altimeter 29.902. Continue to EYOBI as planned.
So we'll come in with a standard rate of turn. That turn coming. Nice instrument scan. Climbing out at 110 as we like. We'll roll out on a nice intercept heading here. That looks pretty good there. Looks pretty good. Our after takeoff check. Gear is up. Fuel pump's coming off. Landing lights coming off. Climb checks. We've got our climb power set. You can see our course deviation indicators coming in. So we're going to start to roll in towards our course. Standard rate of turn. See here. We've got a headwind a little bit off our nose right to left, so we'll have a very slight crab. I'm gonna hold that right now just to see intercept things. But I'm basically hands off. The climb is set. Trim about 110. So I've got really no back pressure on the yoke. I can let go of the yoke. I bump it every once in a while for some aileron just to get us on course here. Everything is in the green, looking good. So you see we're climbing out at anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500. So we'll start our level off about 10% of the climb rate. So at 1,000 feet, 10% of that would be 100 feet. So at 5,900, we'll start our level off. And we're probably about 1,200, so 120. So let's go ahead and start leveling off. And now I'm going to hold down pressure on the yoke, and as the airspeed increases, I'll have to even hold more down pressure. So to relieve that down pressure, I'm dialing in down trim. So let's come back with our power. 22 inches on the manifold pressure. 2,300 on our props. And once our airspeed settles down and stabilizes, we can then get our final trim dialed in. Pretty good right here. Still holding a little bit of down pressure, so I'm dialing in still some more down trim till all that pressure is gone. We are hand flying this completely. Alright, I'm about hands off right there. So we will try to engage the autopilot. I've had some success every once in a while, but a lot of times I don't. So let's go ahead. Flight director. should be all set. We hope. So again, we have our cruise power all set. Here. And we're looking 65% power, 6,000 feet. So you can see 21.7. So we've got 22 things dialed in. So let's check our cruise here. It's looking good. Let's go ahead and close up our cowl flaps. Our lights are all set. Things look good. So you see, we flew that completely by hand. You saw how stable the PA-44 is. But you can see the critical thing is trim. Trim will really relieve your workload. Alright, well, let's go outside and take a look around. Beautiful day for flying. It's really fun IFR to be up above the clouds, in the clouds. It's a nice challenge. Beautiful airplane. This is what flying's all about. If you haven't flown the Seminole yet, definitely give it a try. It's a good introduction into flying twins. It's very stable, very friendly. What a day. Someone's getting a good ride today. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now that we're all set in cruise, we can lean our mixture back a little bit so we can look at our exhaust gas temperature here. Start coming back with the mixtures. You see it's rising. We'll go to peak. It's peak, and we're going to come back to the rich side of peak. There, looking good. So there, we're all set now, and I'll get back to you when we're ready for our descent. Alright folks, we're still a few minutes out before our descent, but what I'd like to do is show you our flight plan, where we're at. You see, we're about midway now.
Flight 0 Victor, contact Jacksonville Center on 128.7. Good day.
Going to 128.750 Victor. Jacksonville Center, November 2450 Victor, 6,000 feet.
November 2450 Victor, Jacksonville Center altimeter 29.9 continue as planned.
HTC always interrupts right when you're trying to say something. So when we hit Hickey, this is about where we'll start our descent. We're cruising at 6,000 feet right now. Look at our approach plate. At our initial approach fix, want to be somewhere around 2,000 feet. But when we get to UX depth, we do want to be at 2,000 feet. You see here. 2,000 feet. We cross UX depth, we're going to descend down to 1,600 feet, and at Bevet, this is where we'll intersect the glide slope, and we'll start our final descent from there. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a picture of the vertical profile. We will be descending here shortly, so I will get back to you just as we get ready to descend. Hi folks, welcome back to the flight deck. We are approaching Hickey, and at Hickey, somewhere right in here, we'll probably get permission to set our descent. So I thought we would bring you on board now to see the whole procedure. But again, we'll be
50 Victor, you are 35 miles north. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 18 approach via Charlie Romeo Echo transition. Clear to Charlie Romeo Echo.
let's listen to ATIS for Myrtle Beach.
Kilo Golf Golf Echo, automated weather observation 1500 Zulu. Wind 184 at 12. Visibility 9er. Sky condition, ceiling 1,700 feet overcast. Temperature 15 C, dew point 13 C, altimeter 299er 2. Myrtle Beach Airport in
Alright, so we got pretty good conditions at Myrtle Beach. Should break out somewhere around 1,700, 1,800 feet. So, should be a pretty straightforward approach. One thing I'd like to point out today with our approach, we'll do our descent using the autopilot, and also we'll fly some of the approach with the autopilot. One of the things I want to point out is when you're using the autopilot, pitch is determined and set by the autopilot, okay? So what we'll be doing with throttle, our throttle will simply be maintaining our airspeed, okay? So when you're on the autopilot and flight director, the autopilot is actually setting the pitch for you. When we're not using the autopilot and I'm flying just a regular approach, we are setting our airspeed with trim, and then our power is controlling our pitch. When I was working on my instrument rating, we didn't have an autopilot. I was doing my instrument rating in a 172, so this is where I learned about setting my airspeed using my trim, and then pitch is controlled with power. But that's not true if you're flying the approach with autopilot, and that's what I'll show you today. Now once I turn the autopilot off on our approach, then I'll go back to the other method where my speed is set by trim and pitch will be set by power. And you'll see when we turn the autopilot off, I really won't have to adjust the trim as long as we're at our approach speed when I turn it off. So I'll show you that when we get into our approach. But we should be getting cleared to descend here. We are now turning just crossed Hickey, and we are heading to ZVIN. See here, here's our top of our descent, and most likely we'll hear from ATC here shortly. In our descent, we will try not to, we won't exceed 160. 170 is the maximum speed, structural speed in smooth air. There's no reason for us to even get close to that, so we'll descend right around 150 to 160. The autopilot will be handling our rate of descent, so what we'll be doing with our throttles is that will be how we will maintain our airspeed. So I'll show you that here in a second. Take a nice look around here
Vertical track.
before we get busy. So again, we should be hearing from ATC anytime now. If we don't hear from them before too long, we'll have to initiate the approach ourselves. Once in a while, Microsoft Flight Simulator doesn't do a good job in that. Excuse me. Get a little drink. Okay, ATC, we're ready. We'd like to start to descend here, guys. Come on.
Victor contact Myrtle Beach approach on 127.4.
Here we go.
Good day.
127.4 for 50 Victor. Myrtle Beach approach November 2450 Victor 6,000 feet.
November 2450 Victor Myrtle Beach approach altimeter 29.902. Continue to Charlie Romeo Echo as planned.
Okay, we've set our altimeter. Still have a headwind, but now it's off our nose left to right, you see. So we've got just a little bit of crab to the left to hold our course. Come on, guys. I'd like to start letting down. You see, we're at Zemin. Close. So we've got this short amount of time to get down to 2,000 feet. If we don't hear from them soon, we're going to start. Because we're probably, well, we'll probably have to descend around 1,000 feet to 1,200 feet a minute to get down. Seeing a few little holes here. Alright, we need to initiate this descent on our own. So, vertical speed. Start with 1,000. Okay, so you see our airspeed is increasing, so we need to now come back with our power. Control that airspeed. The autopilot is controlling pitch. The throttles are going to control airspeed. We've come back a little bit with the power, so let's go ahead and come in with some carb heat here. We need to get down some more, so we're going to...
50 Victor, you are 700 feet below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain 6,000 feet, altimeter 29.902.
Climb and maintain 6,000 feet 50 Victor.
So this is where ATC has failed us today. So I'm coming back with the power some more, because I increased our rate of descent to 1,500. I really don't want to exceed the 160. But we do need to get down. we're probably going to descend. That's our gear indicator light. Oh, that was why. Once again, I was reducing the power, but the cursor was on the other screen. So that's why it dropped down that low.
50 Victor, please expedite your climb 6,000 feet.
So we're going to continue right through. By the time we turn onto our approach here, we need to get right down to 1600. So we're going to continue that.
50 Victor, descend and maintain 2,000 feet.
Oh, now they tell us.
Descend and maintain 2,000 feet, 50 Victor.
This is why I don't trust
Vertical
the
track.
ATC
50
sometimes.
Victor, you are 12 miles north of Myrtle Beach. Contact Myrtle Beach Tower on 128.45 when inbound on the approach.
Tower on 128.455.
So we want to go right down to 1600 feet.
Myrtle Beach
And we
Tower
want to
November
really start slowing
2450
up.
Victor, 11 miles north, inbound ILS runway
So
18.
we had to descend a lot steeper than what we
November
normally would have.
2450 Victor, Myrtle Beach Tower. Altimeter 29.9er, 21184 at 12. Cleared ILS runway 18 approach.
Go ahead, we'll select approach.
Cleared ILS runway 18 approach, 50 Victor.
There's 1600. Come on, autopilot, let go. Alright, it's not gonna let go to where I want it to be. Our glide slope should be coming in here shortly. Okay, so we're going to come in with our boost pumps. Come in with our landing lights. Gears coming down. You see our airspeed now is dropping. We'll go ahead and take off our carb heat. We're going to come in with our mixture to full. And we should start to see our glide slope come in here shortly. So our gear is all down, we're all set. Come in with a notch of flaps here just as soon as we start to see the glide slope come in a little bit. We should be seeing that come in just as soon as we hit, what is it? Bevet, I believe is what it's called. Well, we can see the airport right here. Glide slope is active, so I'm going to come in with a notch of flaps. What I'm trying to do is get all of my landing settings all set by the time we intercept the glide slope. So we're going to want to approach at about 80. So again, I'm coming back with the power to reduce our airspeed. And I'm going to come in with our final notch of flaps here. Nose should start coming down. The autopilot should take care of that. Coming in with a little bit of power. You see we're just starting to descend now. So coming back with the power. Remember, the autopilot is taking care of the pitch, keeping us on glide slope. Okay. So we need the throttle to maintain our airspeed. So I'm coming back with the throttle now. We want to come come back with the throttle until we're at about 80 knots. And we want to maintain 80 knots with the throttle. And then you'll see when I remove the autopilot, we'll be already trimmed for 80. The autopilot's done that for us. So then I'll just be handling pitch with power like we usually do. Okay, so things are pretty stabilized here. The autopilot took care of the pitch, and I took care of the airspeed with throttle. I'm coming back in with a little throttle because our airspeed had dropped just a teeny bit. So we're at a point right now where we could turn off the autopilot. So let's come down here, turn it off. So now I'm going to handle pitch with power. We're trimmed at 80, okay? So now, as I mentioned before, we'll handle pitch with power. Uh-oh, come on. Got to keep that cursor on the screen or I can't control the airplane. I hate that. If anyone knows what causes that or how I can avoid that, this is the 501, I think, here. So we're a little high, so I'm now reducing the power because that's how we're going to control the pitch. Keep our pitch picture here. And we also can look at our instruments if we'd like. So I'm coming back in with a little bit of power now, just to decrease the rate of descent. Let's get back on our localizer here. We do have a slight crosswind, 11 knots, right to left, so we are crabbing into the wind to the right. You see our airspeed has maintained nice. We're trimmed at 80 and it's staying at 80. And so all I'm doing now is controlling pitch with power.
500.
Coming back in with a little bit of power now. Trying to keep that pitch picture the same. Come back out now. So you'll notice it's just small movements in and out, in and out. Things are looking good. Gear is down, 3 green. Coming in with a little power now to reduce that rate of descent. Things are looking nice though. Let's see if we can get ourselves a nice landing. Looking nice. The wind is almost right off our nose now. Teeny bit of crosswind. Looking good. Alright, so I'm going to start to come back with the yoke a little bit as I am reducing the power. And now we'll flare, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold that picture right there. Very nice. Alright, flaps are coming up. Fuel pumps are coming off. Let's go ahead and hit this exit.
Victor, turn next taxiway.
Landing lights coming off.
50 Victor, contact ground on 120 decimal tree.
Strobe is coming off.
November 2450 Victor taxi to Northwest parking.
November 2450 Victor taxi to general aviation parking using
Turn our
taxiway
pitot
Bravo
heat
3
off.
Taxiing to general aviation parking
And
using
we'll go
taxiway
to
Bravo 3 Bravo
standby.
50 Victor.
Alright, let's go ahead and taxi. We're going to be parking up here at the FBO, at the FBO. This airport is also a payware custom airport, and this airport, Myrtle Beach, is by Verticalsim. And once we park, we'll step outside and take a cruise around the airport. I'll show you the airport. Thing is looking good there. Go ahead and open our cowl flaps. If I can see. So you see the commercial terminals over here. It's a nice little airport. Not sure exactly where this jet is sitting, if we're going to have room to come around or not. We'll see. Well, why don't we park here? This FBO. This way you'll get a good look at this hangar. And I think this is where I was planning to go anyways. Goes that cursor again. Welcome to Myrtle Beach. Alright, let's set our parking brake. We'll go ahead and turn our radios off. Let's come back with our mixture. Alright, let's get our lights all off. Looking good. And we'll turn our power off. Let's get the door open here. And we'll step outside and we'll take a cruise around the airport. Alright, I'll meet you outside. Well, welcome to Myrtle Beach International Airport. Well, this scenery models the 2022 airport layout with proper taxi signage. It's got HDR lighting. Some of the hotels are modeled. It's got 4K textures with PBR and custom jetways. So let's take a little cruise around and see what we've got. So this FBO is not modeled inside. See some of the textures here. Let's cruise on down a little bit. This is more the generation commercial end. There's a nice ocean approach. We didn't do that today, plus we are IFR, you probably wouldn't have seen much, but it's a very scenic approach coming in over the ocean. So definitely plenty of room and plenty of places for commercial jet traffic. As I mentioned, some of the hotels are modeled. If you like, we'll speed up the drone here a little bit, and we'll head down, check out maybe some of the hotels we can see. You see at your approach to 3.6 is really nice coming in over the ocean. See a golf course. Nice pier out there. So yeah, you can see he's done some of the hotels. Looks nice. So this is your 3.6 approach. So we'll come down here to the commercial end of things. Doesn't look like there's any traffic there today. Got some ground carts, baggage carts. Said custom jetways. Looking pretty nice. Go up and look at the roof here. This looks nice. It's really nice later on his Tampa Airport. All of these fans will be spinning and moving on the air conditioning units. I don't know street side if he's done much. Some. For me, I'm really into getting better frame rates, so I'm not necessarily concerned if the street side has been all modeled, but it certainly looks nice when they have. Same thing with the insides of the airport, but you know, I'm in the airplane. I don't spend much time in the airport. So there, that'll give you a nice little look at the commercial side of it. Come on. As you know, I can't run these at all. So let's take one last zip around here. And this is Myrtle Beach. So there. Well, I hope you enjoyed the flight today. Until next time, be good. Thank you again for watching, and if you could, please show your support for this video and the channel by liking and subscribing, so others like you can find the channel. Thanks.